Hi, everybody. Oh boy. Okay. I think you all know that a lot of this live is going to be about Hurricane Milton, weather modification, weather being used as a weapon of mass destruction. It is in our face now. I sure hope there are more Americans getting it, but there are an awful lot posting on it now. YouTube, Twitter, I guess TikTok. I don't go on TikTok. So yeah, whole lot talking about it, and that's good, right? The unfortunate part, as far as I'm concerned, is they don't care. The weather terrorists, they do not care. So after doing this, and I'm on my 14th year, and so many of us were posting on the capabilities of governments, of militaries, of states, of utility companies, of commercial companies to control the weather for years and years and years. And then it just kind of died out, which I thought was interesting because there was still a lot of destruction due to weather throughout the years. The massive flooding of places. When you think about the scale of destruction that we have witnessed, some have experienced. Do you know how many Americans have been taken out? Do you know how many Americans have died? How many Americans have been destroyed? Their houses destroyed, shelter, losing everything. Even just this past year, a whole lot. We're talking throughout the recent years, millions. And yeah, Patricia, weather warfare, their chosen weapon. A brilliant weapon to use against the United States, Americans, especially when you can't get them thinking right. So we're going to have more destroyed tomorrow. I can't stand it. Talk about making Americans move. There are evacuations going on in Wyoming due to the fires. Southern California, the line fire, is that still going? Probably. You have an awful lot of people working nonstop up north, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. A whole lot of Floridians haven't even begun the recovery of Hurricane Helene, and now they're having to evacuate for Milton. All right, I've got a lot of strange stuff on Milton. Let me just say hello to those who are here, Alicia DeMoss and Andrew Cruz and Sandra Pilar. Sandra, where do you live in Florida? Oh boy. Yeah, I have subscribers who are on that West Coast. James B., hi. Barbarous Heartbreaker, hello. Taylor Noose, hello. Marlo in Oracle 11 and Rage Against the Machine in Barb in Ohio, and Kim Blanchard and Julie, hi. Elizabeth, Hypocrites Matrix, Stack Stevenson, hey, from Northwest Ohio. Stack Stevenson, the years, right? Stack? living this? Are you feeling tired? Goy Goddess, Rick Yorkin, hello. And Patricia, hello. Christopher, Dean, and Julio. Super Dave, 44, Silent Walk. L24, hi, thank you. And Mama Rages, hope you're feeling better. And hello. So, all right, we're just going to take a look at radar for now. Oh, look at Colorado again. There we go. Pueblo, Colorado. Shooting off their very dangerous, extremely low frequencies. But here we have the air masses going in opposite directions. We still have this kind of rectangle shape of precipitation, but the hurricane is pretty close. Can't see it on this radar. You can see it. It's getting dark though. So look, this is the hurricane. I'll show you what I captured. I don't think College of DuPage has picked it up on radar either. No. All right. You have an nanobot line here. Supercells being created. That's a very strange shape for precipitation. And this thing, man, look at how big it is. They've been creating more and more cloud, and it just goes on and on and on. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's how our hurricanes roll now, I guess. And let me show you what I captured. But it's been moving along. It starts at 1:50 p.m. I think East Coast time, actually. And let's see. There she blows. With two separate cloud formations. And they have been manufacturing a lot of cloud for Milton. I'm very worried about you guys in Florida. This is, I want to actually think, okay, this could be like other weather events where they hype it up so much, and then when it actually happens, it's not what mainstream media has previously said it was going to be. That's the best scenario. That's something that I would love to happen. I don't know. I really don't know. But look what they did in North Carolina. Look what they did in Tennessee and South Carolina and Georgia and Florida with Helene. Okay. Look what they have done to several areas of Florida this year and last year, where that was rain. It was rain, and people were walking in their neighborhoods in 3 feet of water, which went into their homes. Okay. Rain. Prior to Helene, North Carolina, and I cannot remember where it was, but it was more east. I didn't even see it on radar. And I remember talking about this in a live, and saying the next morning I wake up, just my homepage, I see the massive flooding in North Carolina. Okay, so they don't even have to announce for people to get destroyed. So looking at this, which I've been doing for 2 days, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I don't think the hurricane will come up. I think they're shooting this thing right through the middle of Florida, central Florida, you know. And of course, it's not dissipating. Orlando is going to get hit with a Category 2. So it has today gone from Category 5 to Category 4, back up to Category 5, but I think it's going to hit the coast at a Category 3, which Floridians have had before, but I say, this is why I hate lies. Hate lies. Because people believe the lies. They could come out and claim that it was a Category 5 when it wasn't, and create all of the destruction that people will go, well, yeah, it was a Category 5, and use other weapons to create the destruction. Okay, so evil shitheads keep you really busy. They're exhausting. Really. So let me show you what I captured. Do I have it open? No. And it was rather wild. All right, so this is radar this morning. So we apparently have, the cloud structure of this hurricane makes it look like this weather, what we see, this line of nanobots, as far as I'm concerned, have been going on for a while. This was at 1:41 p.m. my time. So, yeah, I'd like to. You've had so much rain in the last couple of days. That's what I've been seeing on radar. But this is before the hurricane, way before the hurricane. But one would think that it's an outer band because we have a hurricane that's the size of a whole lot of countries now. I'm not sharing the screen. I am, because here I have to click it to stop screen. No, I'm not. It's not about learning StreamYard. It's about what the hell is going on. I made sure that everything was set up. Stop screen, which means stop sharing screen. So what is going on? This is pissing me off. See? That's stop screen. Let's do this again. it's not like I don't set this up, not remembering all of you saying the screen, I can't see, the video, I can't see the screen. I remember that. So I purposely make sure. See here, it stopped screen again. Okay, now I'm sharing. Why? I'm tired, okay? I feel like everything I touch, it just doesn't go right. You know? And trust me, my days are not fun. So, here we go. All right. This is the rectangle structure that I was talking about. These are the Pueblo, Colorado NextRad, extremely low frequencies coming out. Dangerous. Once again, there they are, the nanobot line right here. And very strange. This line has been going all day. The air masses are going in different directions, which I can show you on the capture, which I will do right now. All right, so this is it. And I hope you can see it. Can you see it? Let's just check in with you guys.
So just to kind of take a second, all right, let's discuss what we should be thinking about today, tonight, and tomorrow. Cleaning up our yard. I have to take care of all of the Halloween decorations. For you,
well, I'm just going to
yard chairs, right?
Assume that you can't see it. Look at this. This was at 1:41 this afternoon, and this line is still going on. Look at these frequencies in Texas, okay? But very strange. You'll see that the whole cloud structure is part of the hurricane. So you would think that that's like the precipitation that's been going on in Florida is like just part of the hurricane. It's very hard to figure out what the hell. All right. So this I took at 4:21 p.m. All of this cloud is the hurricane. It has taken up an awful lot of the Gulf of Mexico. And look at all of the nanobots. Yes, the glittering specks that you see. But look at this. Look at how ferocious Milton looks. So they are spinning this with a speed that is, well, nothing like I've seen before. All of the cloud that's being manufactured around it, all of this cloud, this is why they keep saying, and I've heard news broadcasts about how that, and they use these terms, that Milton has exploded. It has exploded. It's huge. Well, why is it huge? Because they can manufacture cloud, and that's exactly what they are doing. Manufacturing it around the hurricane. But yeah. Also, if you look closely, you'll see that suddenly there are these defined lines. It's usually at the top of the hurricanes. I've been doing this for a while. And, to steer these weather systems, they'll hit them with the frequencies at the periphery of the system. But look at this. Okay, that's looking mighty not nice. But the strange thing is, when I check the wind speeds, I am not seeing the wind speeds as mainstream media is reporting them. Look at all of the cloud being created. Look at this. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a hurricane, even the manufactured ones, that look quite like it. There are places where there has been flooding already. You can see the defined line right up here, hitting it at the top. So, look at this thing. It's really pretty, well, let's just say, I was going to say unbelievable. But when you see that, and you hear what mainstream media has been saying, you get worried. You can't help it. When it's just on the heels of all of the destruction that came with Helene, I'm sure there's a lot of Floridians, a whole lot, like millions, really worried, very worried. So let's take a look at this. Now, I just received this afternoon, and I'm going to read it. It's from Mike Adams. Incoming intel, FEMA is waiving ungodly amounts of money at private security firms right now, begging for security contractors to station at Florida to prevent Floridians returning to their homes and businesses after the storm hits. The evacuation orders are to push people out of Florida and keep them out. Reportedly, Delta Force personnel advising FEMA at the top, devising denial of area enforcement plans, which will be enforced at gunpoint if required. I'm told FEMA is practically panicked to get enough armed personnel on site, anticipating a tremendous amount of resistance from displaced people who want to return home to salvage what they can. This is the next step up the escalation ladder as the federal government wages war against the American people, as we saw in North Carolina, as we continue to see in North Carolina, actively hindering rescue efforts. Now, FEMA didn't just start this. They've been doing this for years, and in fact, live a couple of nights ago, I had shown that, was it Irma? And FEMA was trying to keep all civilian people. They were blocking the bridges. They were trying to keep them from getting into the Keys in Florida to help Floridians. This is what has been going on for a very long time. So I find it interesting that readers, so now it's Twitter allows people to correct, just people. Who are the readers? Readers added context. This is blatantly false. This is nothing more than a rumor that has already been refuted. You want to see the evidence? Hawaii Public Radio, mainstream media, to refute that. An article, August 21, 2023. And it has nothing to do with what Mike Adams is saying. Wow. Good on your refuting there. Okay. So, yeah. This may have to do with the Lahaina fire. But yeah, I mean, you can bet that where FEMA goes, they're bringing a very dark, sinister plan. And we've seen it and we know it. So just be hold your ground peacefully, firmly. Don't let these employees knock you around. Develop some of that Appalachian spirit and and I wouldn't be surprised, especially considering what happened in North Carolina in particular. So you had an awful lot of people going up there, FEMA trying to knock them back, prevent them from doing anything, confiscating donations and supplies. Well, they didn't get very far. So Floridians, if they do the same crap with you, band together, don't let them get very far. All right. The latest. Apparently, it's back to Category 5 strength, but the track has shifted a bit, which has a lot to do with the storm surge and where it's going to be rather deadly. Let's just listen to a few minutes of this.
The South. Now, if you've been following me on Facebook, you kind of know what we're talking about. We've been seeing this for several hours. This afternoon, there was a wobble of this storm to the southeast. How many times as Floridians have we seen that happen? I mean, it's absolutely impossible to forecast where that and when that is going to happen. But we know with our experience that quite often you get these wobbles, especially as they approach Florida. And 9 times out of 10, those wobbles are to the right. Well, today, that happened. It was small, it was subtle, but I will use the example that I always use. So imagine you're driving a car and you're holding that steering wheel, right? And you turn that steering wheel just a little bit to the right. Well, 100 yards down the road, it isn't going to change very much, your direction. But 200 miles down the road, it is. So that little subtle change, that little wobble has changed the track. The Hurricane Center has now nudged the track now down toward the south, closer to the Sarasota area. The margin of error, when you look at the cone, remember, this cone has nothing to do. There's no one at the Hurricane Center saying, well, let's make this cone a little bit bigger on this side and a little bit less on this side. All this cone is in terms of time, the average margin of error over the last 5 years. And it should be getting closer because we're now about 30, 34 hours out from landfall. So you would expect the margin of error to be lower. But I'll say this again. We as Floridians know these wobbles are going to happen. And there's not a model on Earth or a human on Earth, for that matter, who can predict where those specific wobbles are going to occur. But we do know, more often than not, they're a little bit to the right. So when we take a closer look at that updated track, this line was over Tampa Bay itself, the actual bay, at 11 o'clock, and now it is more south of Bradenton, between Bradenton and Sarasota. We're going to take a closer look at this, but I implore everyone watching this right now, look at the margin of error. Look at that cone of uncertainty. How many times in the last couple of decades have we gone out here and said, and I'll answer it, think of Charlie, think of Irma, think of Ian, heck, think of Helene, because even Helene at the end veered a little bit to the right. Remember how Tallahassee was in the sights?
Okay, the track could very well change again. I don't think it's going to change significantly, but this one is over to the West Coast, 2 for the Orlando area, category 2. Okay. God, when I think of what you guys have gone through, I just, even if nothing happens, in terms of your house being destroyed, or, you evacuate, you come back, you have everything's in order. Just the mere having to live this, causes such stress. And when you know that it is being brought about deliberately, that's when you get really, well, that's when I get pissed. All right. So, they're talking about 155 mile per hour winds. All right. This is windy. Maybe windy is just not right. I don't know. But we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it on windy. I didn't check other sites because, frankly, it doesn't matter. How many times have we been doing this throughout the years? We're checking the speeds, and mainstream media is lying about this, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is what they're going to be bringing in for you. So 36 knots. This is not converted to miles per hour, just a few knots above or a few miles per hour above the knot. So 36 might be 40 miles per hour. But when you see this whipping around in the captures that I showed you, I don't know. Now, let's listen to Into Thin Air. The link is in the chat. If you have not subscribed to Into Thin Air, I highly suggest you do.
Everyone, welcome back. October 8th, 2024. We are tracking Major Hurricane Milton. Currently a major Category 4 storm, 155 mile an hour sustained winds, has basically just passed the threshold of the left side of the Cancun and Cuba water gap. Now, what this means is that there is no more land interaction between Milton and Florida. So nothing else besides some atmospheric conditions to possibly weaken this storm before landfall. And for that to happen, this storm would have to go through a de-intensification, and chances are that is not what we're going to see. Okay, now something very important about hurricanes in general, specifically where this one's going near Tampa. If you look at the geography of Tampa, you can see that it is part of a giant inlet that sinks into the west coast of Florida. As you can see here, we have St. Petersburg, Sun City Center, Riverview, Tampa, Town and Company, Safety Harbor. I'm not liking that name today because it will not be safe here whatsoever. But this inlet, if you notice the counterclockwise spin of the hurricane, will be pushing water into into this inlet with nowhere else to go. If this track stays true, we will have severe flooding all along these coastlines here, which is only just a small portion of where this hurricane is going to cause damage and severe flooding. We are talking anywhere from 13 to 20 feet of storm surge, likely right in between that number in all of these areas. So we're talking Spring Hill all the way down to Cape Coral and even extending past that. And then, of course, my friends, we have to worry about what happens after landfall. With the small, thin geography of Florida, this entire state basically will be paralyzed for a few days. And you can clearly see that here with basically every single county besides the Panhandle under some sort of major hurricane watch or warning. My friends, this will likely be a major hurricane at landfall, but at the same time, based on the type of stuff we've been covering here, don't be surprised if at the last absolute minute something gets thrown into the ringer here, and watch this storm turn away and not do anything. Imagine that. It would be just like that episode of House of Cards that basically predicts a major hurricane making landfall, and just before it does, it turns away because the president paid a lot of money to FEMA. If you don't believe me, go check it out. I have it linked here in the description. And the most shocking part of that episode is the fact that the hurricane they use in the show was the model from Hurricane Helene from 1958. Check it out. It's on your screen right now. I mean, think about that for 1 second. A show that's mimicking what we're dealing with FEMA as far as funding and all that also has a Hurricane Helene from 1958. I gotta say, my friends, truth is stranger than fiction. And with that said, I will have more updates throughout today. And
all right, I big shout out to Into Thin Air. It takes a lot of time and effort to be watching what's happening, posting on what's happening. It's not so easy, so big thank you. Did I put the link in? I can't even remember. Just in case I didn't, there the link is again. All right, so we've got some weird stuff. Now, I didn't know about House of Cards having an episode about a hurricane, and then the president pays off FEMA, and, well, the hurricane is steered in another direction. Come on. And then the Hurricane Helene, begs questions, doesn't it? All right. I also heard these broadcasts about how this cloud, the hurricane cloud, was exploding. All right. I have several videos on my playlist. This one is artificial cloud proof. Watch, yes, or well, you don't have to watch. Artificial clouds. I also have another video going through the many methods in which they can create cloud. Abnormal polarity of thunderclouds grown from negatively charged air, ions. But in this is also weather modification by carbon dust, absorption of solar energy, all that black stuff. You don't have to fight with me. Oh, it's coal ash. No, it's black carbon dust. Oh, well, we don't have to fight about it. Black carbon dust is a very cheap ingredient to be sprayed in commercial airplanes, if you read this document. And what can it do? Well, it can do quite a bit, actually. Black carbon dust is one of the methods in which they can increase atmospheric heat, artificial heat source, and it can actually increase the size of cumulus clouds. Also, enhance rain. So, makes clouds bigger. All right, so I'll post the link. If anybody, wants to call you a conspiracy theorist at this point, I would either walk fast away from them, rolling your eyes, make sure they see you rolling your eyes, or slap them silly. I mean, especially when we have so many people now speaking about it. I hope it continues because, weapons of mass destruction. Just because we don't have, a major hurricane, it does not mean that people aren't being flooded out somewhere. Certainly all over the world. Yeah. So it continues. Now, I can't play this. This is a storm chaser. The pressure is on Tampa Bay races to clean up ahead of Category 5 Milton. So I, in a live stream, included FEMA, a new regulation that they couldn't dump, when you see all of the homes that are flooded out. Suddenly, they were banning all of these people from dumping all of their belongings into landfills. That's the first I've seen of that. Why is that? Well, now it's a big problem because you have very high winds coming. Look at this. These are projectiles. So, you may escape having any damage done to your house from the hurricane, but you might have damage from the hurricane winds taking all of this and flying it into the windows of your house and into the roof. It's insane. There was here, hurricane debris will become literal missiles. Look at this. This is still there because these private contractors were banned from taking the debris to landfills. So this,
Welcome to the area refuse
All right, so giving you guys an update on me. It's a fucking shit show already. Like, I'm not even playing with you. So literally, I don't know who they why my car just wouldn't cut on. Just wouldn't cut on. The battery went completely dead. So I had to get up early this morning. When I tried to take the trash out last night, and something told me not to take the trash out last night. I'm glad that I didn't, but the car stopped me because something was going on last night. I don't know what happened, but I just didn't end up doing it. So I had to call CarMax. They had to come over here, get a tow guy, jump my car, and I got to take it to CarMax to get the battery replaced. Come to find out, my car isn't the only one doing this. They said roadside assistance is going off the hook right now because a lot of people cars is breaking down right now. The insurance companies is blowing up and going crazy. Something is happening. And I asked her, I said, wait, is it because of the storm? She said, yes, something about the storm is causing cars to break down. They are piled up right now at CarMax. But I'm about to go take my car up there right now. I'm going to give you guys an update on the weather and what's happening as I go. So just pray for me because what the fuck?
So, electromagnetic frequencies can do that, even to regular, ordinary batteries, not just electric. You know, I had it happen to my car, and I thought it was the battery, and it wasn't. I couldn't start my car, and it happened twice in the exact same spot where this was Great Barrington, Massachusetts. And I used to film and take pictures of the frequencies that I could see in the sky. Come back, my entire car is dead. Had to walk home, finally get somebody to jump it, so they drive me down. But before, the jumper cables are put on, I just tried to start it and started up fine. Frequencies can do that. So, yeah, a whole lot of hurdles when man is creating the weather, huh? Okay, so look at this. Rest area full. Next rest area, 29 miles. Bumper to bumper traffic. Yep, speed limit is 70, but they're probably going 10, trying to get out of Florida. All right, Duke Energy is preparing for over 1 million customers to be without power in Florida. Duke Energy owns the dams that release the water in North Carolina. They also own Hawaiian Electric. I didn't know that. Lahaina, Maui Fire. Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street are the top shareholders of Duke Energy. And we're supposed to believe that these freak monster hurricanes, the size of entire countries, are perfectly normal. I guess. And many are posting as they're trying to evacuate the geoengineering right before Milton hits.
October 8th, 2024, day before Milton is supposed to hit, heading north to Panama City Beach. And look at what they're doing. They're trailing freaking crap out of us. Look at this. What are they, guiding this mother right into us? Look at this.
There's more, but that was just a taste. And okay, did you know?
What in the hell? Is there a movie with a hurricane named Milton in it that starts in the Gulf of Mexico and heads towards Florida? Yes, the 2008 movie called Category 6 Day of Destruction. In the film, a massive hurricane named Milton forms in the Gulf of Mexico and heads towards Florida. The movie is a disaster film that depicts the devastating effects of a storm as well as the challenges faced by the people trying to survive. What in the hell? Is this true, y'all? What the? What in the hell?
Okay. Did you hear this? The FEMA official slip of the tongue. Listen to this slip of the tongue.
We plan to execute between 70 and 80,000. We plan to evacuate between 70 and 80,000 people. We plan to execute between 70 and 80,000. We plan to evacuate between 70 and 80,000 people.
Plans to execute 70, 80,000 people. This is ChatGPT. How many lives were lost during Hurricane Milton? Okay. It's not happened yet. So why are these artificial intelligence or Alexa things answering the questions? One would think that, yeah, they're programmed by a two-legged who knows ahead of time. All right, ChatGPT, the answer? Hurricane Milton, which rapidly intensified into a Category 5 storm, caused significant devastation, particularly along the Gulf Coast of Florida and in parts of Mexico. While exact numbers are still being updated as rescue operations continue, initial reports suggest that the storm has resulted in over 50 confirmed fatalities. This number is expected to rise as more remote areas are reached and damage assessments continue. The storm's rapid intensification and high winds, coupled with flooding, contributed to the loss of life and severe damage in affected areas. And this is another one. Boy, I guess these artificial intelligence things can see into the future. Okay. Alexa.
Alexa, how many lives were lost during Hurricane Milton?
Overall, extreme Hurricane Milton caused $21.3 billion in damages and caused 262 fatalities.
October 8th, 2024, 12:15 p.m. Central Time. Alexa, how many lives were lost during Hurricane Milton?
Overall, extreme Hurricane Milton caused $21.3 billion in damages and caused 262 fatalities.
October 8th.
262 fatalities. And it hasn't even made landfall. It's amazing. Okay. Minutes of Horror. The link is in the chat. I recommend subscribing because, wow, he comes up with really incredible information. But there were articles written about Hurricane Milton months ago.
I believe what is currently coming out about Hurricane Milton. There's an organization called the Convoy of Hope. They have a website. They have an article that talks about Hurricane Milton all the way back on April 24th, 2024. I am sorry, April 25th, 2024. Now, I didn't believe this myself. I went to the Convoy of Hope website. I went to the Hurricane Milton article, and it shows October 7th, 2024. But as somebody pointed out, if you go to the Wayback Machine, which shows archived articles, you will see that they did post an article where it shows Hurricane Milton, April 25th, 2024. What is even crazier is that there was another deleted article on another website that was created back on April 10th, 2024, that talks about a hypothetical Hurricane Milton. And again, this was back on April 10th, 2024. Now listen to this. And again, this was on April 10th, 2024. Hurricane Milton was a extremely powerful Category 5 hurricane that caused widespread damage across its path in October 2024. Milton formed in mid-October and reached Category 5 strength on the Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Scale, SSHS. Milton caused catastrophic damage in Mexico and then Florida. This devastating hurricane would take the lives of several across the Caribbean and Florida.
All right, I'm putting the link in again. It's only, an 11-minute video, but there's more crazy stuff. More crazy stuff. All right, so what are we living? What are we living? Are we living this life that is controlled by artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence knows, what's going to be happening ahead of time? And what are we living? Ooh, Tampa, Florida. 15-minute cities. Okay. You can check it out. Tampa Moves Citywide Mobility Plan. We have 15-minute cities already in construction all over. Lahaina and, Asheville, North Carolina, Tampa. There's so are we going to be seeing Tampa leveled? I don't know. I sure hope not. In fact, there was a simulation of Tampa being leveled by a Category 5 hurricane. Now, Project Phoenix, it was Hurricane Phoenix, I think, but this was the simulation. Just to give you a little bit of knowledge about this, I'll play this just for a few minutes. Go to Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council.com. Look, years of putting out all of the information. Go and check out the climate change plans that they have for your area. I can't remember the exact title of them, but Deborah Tavares was big on, yes, check it out. They have plans years ahead of time.
And you can learn all about Project Phoenix 2.0. And you can see here a hurricane simulation for Tampa Bay small businesses. Did anyone else notice the body language of Ron DeSantis yesterday at the Hurricane Milton briefing and how extremely concerned and worried he looks? His body language is justified because just today we have Hurricane Milton upgraded to a Category 5 hurricane, and it seems that it has his eyes directly on Tampa Bay. Now, I wonder if Ron DeSantis knows about Project Phoenix, which in 2009, it was developed by the Tampa Bay Catastrophic Plan, Project Phoenix, a plan to address the challenges of response and recovery during a catastrophic event in the Tampa Bay area. So in this plan, Hurricane Phoenix is a fictitious storm, was created to simulate the effects of a worst-case scenario in our region, a direct strike from a Category 5 hurricane, which we have the live action right here with Hurricane Milton.
Okay, so yeah, I will, and I have seen that a number of people have been, posting and sharing on this Project Phoenix and the simulation of this hurricane hitting Tampa. There is a Tampa Bay, this is the Regional Planning Council, their YouTube channel. This is the Hurricane Phoenix simulation that was posted 4 years ago. The recovery is a facilitated training exercise that examines critical issues and capabilities of Tampa Bay for business and emergency management agencies during disaster recovery. All right. I'm sure you can imagine, what this video is going to show you. I don't think I'm going to play the entire thing, maybe, but here it is. And this may very well be coming to Tampa now. Do I say that to scare the shit out of people? No. I just, look, a whole lot of us have been screaming about weather warfare for years. And Agenda 2030, the climate change fraud, the lies. So, while I don't want to see this happen at all, it could very well happen. And I just hope that certainly my subscribers, but anyone has evacuated, can get out, have a place to go, and then what you come back to, I don't know.
There has been a noticeable shift in the forecast track. Forecasters say this storm.
Didn't we just hear that? At the beginning of my live, there was a shift in the track. Oh, okay. Wow.
Storm could be one of the strongest ever to hit the Tampa Bay region. Phoenix is now a Category 5 hurricane. It is a historic storm and unfortunately making a beeline right now for our area.
Oh my goodness.
And we have Category 1 Hurricane Phoenix just south of Jamaica now. Phoenix is currently expected to make landfall in the Yucatan Peninsula as a Category 2 storm. But of course, always, we are keeping a close eye on this system. There has been a noticeable shift in the forecast track from the NHC overnight, which now brings Phoenix into our viewing area, possibly as a strong hurricane. Now is the time to begin those preparations, folks. We have breaking news this morning if you're just joining us. The National Hurricane Center has upgraded our entire viewing area to a hurricane warning as Hurricane Phoenix is projected to make landfall as a major hurricane sometime tomorrow. Mandatory evacuations are in effect for all coastal regions. Forecasters say this storm could be one of the strongest ever to hit the Tampa Bay region. We cannot stress enough how crucial it is that you finish your storm preparations tonight. Conditions will deteriorate rapidly tomorrow morning and evacuation routes will quickly become impassable. Please don't take this lightly and heed all evacuation orders. Folks, this is unfortunately the worst case scenario unfolding for the Tampa Bay area. Phoenix is now a Category 5 hurricane with maximum sustained winds at 160 miles an hour. The wind gusts up to 200 miles per hour. This is catastrophic. It is a historic storm and unfortunately making a beeline right now for our area. We have a live look right now at North Tampa and Polk Street. I believe this is near Kawa Coffee, and as you can see, the storm surge has completely inundated downtown. Law enforcement now is reporting that all bridges have been cut off by storm surge. We're looking at up to 20 feet of storm surge in some spots.
We're trapped on the third floor of the Tampa General Hospital parking garage, and the storm surge is up to the second floor of the hospital.
St. Petersburg is essentially an island right now. A viewer from Brooksville is reporting roofs being torn off of businesses there, so this is a very important reminder that this is not just a coastal storm. We are seeing significant wind damage well inland.
unbelievable gusts going through. Oh my goodness.
The damage this morning is unimaginable. The beaches are essentially gone.
The Howard Franklin Bridge is completely destroyed. I've never seen anything like this.
Officials are scrambling to clean up debris from local airports in order for supplies to be flown in. We are getting reports from Homosassa of residents trapped by downed trees.
There's not a single business that we've driven by that doesn't have significant damage.
Tampa General Hospital has told us that they are unable to receive any patients after the hospital suffered significant damage from wind and storm surge. The level of destruction out here is indescribable. It's going to be a very long road to recovery for the Tampa Bay area.
Okay, so I do also, look, this may happen, this may not happen. No, I don't like the fact that FEMA has already shown its face over and over and over again, how they do try very hard to prevent people from going back after the weather event takes place, hurricane. And my brain just operates this way now, and I'm thinking, well, if it's not that category 5, but they're claiming it is a category 5, that they would need extra time to create more destruction. I think a lot of the reason why FEMA does not want people coming back so early is because they don't want people to see something. So, all right. I'm just so sorry you have to live this. I am so sorry. Right after Helene. What is it, 10 days since Helene? All right. I am going to link below to Inspired's video posted today, Weather Wars. Is America Under Attack? Very good video. This is a must circulate, because he's talking about an awful lot of what we've been talking about for years, all of the methods in which they can create weapons of mass destruction. I'm only going to play the first couple of minutes because I really want to get to this. Anybody remember this from a long, long time ago? But first, this.
Hurricane Milton will go down in history as one of the most rapidly intensifying hurricanes on record. At peak intensity, a category 5 with max sustained winds of 180 miles per hour.
And by the way, this is actual news now, not the simulation, but you really can't tell the difference, huh?
Hurricane Milton, already a historic storm, and it has not even made landfall yet. We saw a huge drop in pressure. On Monday, we watched Milton go from a Category 1 to a Category 5 hurricane in less than 7 hours. That's like a hurricane on steroids. By Wednesday overnight to early Thursday morning, it looks like it's going to make landfall in the Tampa Bay area.
Just an incredible, incredible, incredible hurricane. It has dropped It has dropped 50 millibars in 10 hours. I apologize. This is just horrific.
Now, you're not going to believe what I'm already seeing taking place near the state of Florida, just like we saw with Helene. Already, it's looking like a...
All right, I'm just going to jump ahead because I played that last night.
For the past 2 years, we took over from the Navy and managed it and actually did a number of...
What are they talking about? HARP. They're talking about HARP. Wow.
The Air Force has gotten great value out of HARP in the past 2 years. We took over from the Navy and managed it and actually did a number of experiment campaigns up there and have finished our work that we're interested in doing up there. We've moving on to other ways of managing the ionosphere, which the HARP was really designed to do, was to inject energy into the ionosphere, be able to actually control it.
Yes, Colonel McGregor, I had an hour conference call yesterday with the representatives and senators from the Carolinas, and we presented the data to them to answer their questions about how this manipulation occurs. They realized this was not a natural event. They're trying to digest the fact that their states were literally under assault from weather modification operations that are clearly connected with DoD operations, and we can speculate again on the agendas and objectives being carried out, but the fact that the storm was manipulated is absolutely inarguable. We know that technology to stop these rotations from even occurring has existed for decades with the manipulation of atmospheric pressure zones. HARP in Alaska is one example many people are familiar with. That's an ionosphere heater. That's a weapon of mass destruction, period.
Loudly. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. One more time. We're healthy, we're wealthy.
You are healthy and wealthy. Speak for yourself, Sonny. I'm kidding. All right. He goes into a lot of information that people need to know. That's why I circulate it to you, hoping that you will circulate it to others. The laws, the executive orders relate, an executive order 13112, 1999, relates to preventing the introduction of invasive species with implications for environmental modification. Senate Bill 517, a bill to establish a weather modification operations and research board. Why would they even introduce a bill like that if it just doesn't? We're just crazy. We're making this up. It doesn't exist. Weather modification activities, U.S. Code Title 15, Chapter 9A requires reporting and supervision of weather modification activities to even commercial companies. Oh boy, it's so sad how pathetic a whole lot of Americans are that they just can't even incorporate into their brains facts. How about National Defense Authorization Act? A section relates to geoengineering and weather modification research. NASA climate experiments, ongoing research and development of geoengineering techniques to alter weather patterns. A directive, Department of Defense, Weather Modification, Department of Defense, directive outlining policies on weather modification. It's sad, man. People are being destroyed. NOAA Weather Modification Program. Federal Weather Enterprise, U.S. interagency group coordinating weather-related programs, including modification, research, state weather modification laws, various state-level regulations on cloud seeding and other weather modification activities. Okay. It's a good presentation. So I do hope, I'm putting the link in again, and that you do circulate it. So storm surge, right? Storm surge. Coastlines under attack. Storm urges artificially created. So this is a video that I posted 6 years ago, but I think this was like 9 years ago that Deborah gave this talk to the Granada Forum. I'm going to play several minutes. This needs to be circulated. Really needs to be circulated. Link is in the chat.
This is sadly some information that needs to get out far and wide. Many hours with many whistleblowers.
Ah, come on.
So let's talk.
What's going on?
Hey, welcome back to the Granada Forum radio program. Earth's climate that is creating the climate changes and the reason behind all the climate action plans and resilient plans adopted in every city, town, village. What we're going to hear next is something that is just going to boggle your minds, as it did our research team. What we're going to be talking about is artificially engineered storm surges and artificially engineered sea level rise. And this has all been by informed consent. We've all agreed to the climate action plans, and we're going to talk about that because we know for a fact that geoengineering, aka weather weapons, is the deliberate large-scale manipulation of the Earth's climate that is creating the climate changes and the reason behind all the climate action plans and resilient plans adopted in every city, town, village, state, country, and nation throughout the world. These are climate action plans and resilient plans. For all of you that are listening, you need to type in and find out what your plan is in your area. That plan will outline the type of weather events that you are going to experience because they're creating them. So, for an example, I would type in Santa Rosa, California, Climate Action Plan and Resilient Plan, and I would find a couple 100-page document at least that would outline the types of weather assaults we're going to have, and what we're going to be required to do about that is to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. But tonight we're talking about something far more sinister, far more serious, that is now revealing itself. And I'm going to go over that now. We have a military takeover, a global military takeover. And we have found documents. It's entitled Military Expert Panel Report, Sea Level Rise in the U.S. Military's Mission. Now, this is of all branches of the military globally. So the question is, what do we do when all branches of the military, all government agencies, all departments, all officials and offices exist in a de facto status in name only? What do we do? We know that the United States federal government was dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act of March 9th of 1933, declared by President Roosevelt. We know that the receivers of the United States bankruptcy were the international bankers via the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund. We also know, when we've looked at Senate Report 93549, that we are, all of us, the people, we are the enemy. Hence the reason why we're being poisoned with every type of delivery system available in our cosmetics, in the dyes in our clothes, in the air, the water, the food, the vaccine. Our minds are being poisoned by disinformation in school. And the list is absolutely endless. The government exists today in name only, and we are in some very serious, serious danger. I'm going to read a quote, and this is a declaration of war upon us in a bill that we received from Rothschild. Now, I say Rothschild when I receive my electric bills because Rothschild controls and runs the electric companies throughout the United States. And this came in a bill out of Southern California Edison, aka Edison International. And we have the bill posted on stopthecrime.net under Hot Topics. I would refer everyone to it. It is a declaration of war. It talks about climate change as a new normal, and it talks about we can no longer conduct business as usual, that business as usual is no longer sustainable. And here is a quote from the bill, and this is actually from the Edison CEO, Pedro Pagrazio. The current structure, he says, the current structure is unsustainable, and new approaches are needed to mitigate climate risks. He tells us that fire season is all year round and is our new normal. He also said there must be a sharing of the increasing risk of climate change impacts across all of society. A sharing of climate change impacts across society. So let's talk about sea level rise, and let's talk about storm surge and how this is all being manipulated. And we're going to go over that. We need to understand that sea level rise is being created artificially. And we're going to read how we've discovered this to you, where we found this, and what you need to know about this fact of our reality. This is not part of the military document that you're going to hear me refer to in a minute, but this came out of the NASA war plan that is on stopthecrime.net from page 59. And while the NASA war plan was presented as a PowerPoint a few months before 9/11, we've spent many hours with many, many whistleblowers on going through this plan. And I'm going to read to you right now what has happened and what they're doing and what they're using. It's called the Blast Wave Accelerator. And again, it is discussed in the NASA war document on Stop the Crime. And it is likely one of the aspects that's being deployed to increase the new modeling for higher sea levels, the creation of higher waves, and the daily increased heavier lapping of the waves against all of the coastal seashores that cause increased erosion and is the deliberate large-scale manipulation of the Earth's coastal sea shores. The Blast Wave Accelerator is an older technology, but it's part of causing the coastal seashore erosion called sea level rise. We're going to talk about the newer technology in a moment, but I'm going to discuss in detail how the Blast Wave Accelerator came about. Again, you can find it on page 59 of the NASA War Plan and on stopthecrime.net. They tell us on page 59 that the Blast Wave Accelerator is global precision strike on the cheap, no barrel, excellent stealth, no plume, being worked at Aberdeen and the NASA MSFC for lofting of fuel and nanosats. And here's what the Blast Wave Accelerator was created to do. In 1944, the U.S. military worked with the New Zealand government and developed a devastating tsunami bomb to send, and I find this interesting, to send a 33-foot wave crashing into Japan's coast, designed to destroy coastal cities of Japan, a top secret tsunami bomb from World War II. This was the planned backup weapon if Fat Boy and Little Boy, the code names for the two atomic bombs dropped on Japan in World War II, had failed to detonate. So had those bombs failed to detonate, they were going to use this blast wave accelerator. The code name is Project SEAL, SEAL. You can look it up. Codename Project SEAL is a weapon of mass destruction, and it relied on a series of 10 large offshore blasts and were tested off the coast of New Caledonia at the time and Auckland, now being worked on as the blast wave accelerator. So what you're going to hear me say next is as diabolical as what you're going to hear me say. The military in all branches has signed on to the mission of fighting against climate change, which is a fraud. They are in the process, as we speak, of relocating all low-lying military operations worldwide to higher ground, because they know that sea level rise and the other aspects of the erosion on the coastlines is being deliberately waged upon us. This is war. This is.
And it is war. Absolutely war. So the link is in the chat. Hope you guys circulate it. Oh boy. So these storm surges, we do have great erosion of beaches on the coast. We have homes falling into the ocean. North Carolina, that coast. So that is a happening thing. But the blast wave accelerator. Yeah, there were military.com. U.S. reportedly secret tsunami bomb. This is what Deborah was just talking about. And Russia also had the blast wave accelerator sooner than we did. If you want to check it out, U.S. Army Research Laboratory shock physics simulations of blast wave accelerator launch dynamics. That's just one of countless weapons that the military has in their arsenal to create destruction. And people just think that, oh, it's weather and it's climate change, and we just have to get rid of all cows that fart. Blast wave accelerator, here's another. Oh, it's downloaded into my hard drive, so I can't link to it. Blast wave accelerator is of Russian origin, and it's cheap. But just think of the name, blast wave. How about a blast wave in the ocean? What do you think that's going to do? It's going to create a storm surge, but a bigger blast will create a tsunami. And on YouTube, actually, I hope they're not gone now, but there are videos of militaries creating tsunamis. I don't know, well, whatever, that they were dropping bombs in the ocean. That could certainly cause a blast wave, but I don't think it's the, well, you can check it out. Look, we don't even know if any of these videos, it's so hard to do the research now to come up with all of the documents that we were able to years ago. Boy, Google really did a nice cleaning. Oh, and if you do want to see Project Phoenix, Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, Project Phoenix 2, The Recovery, you can listen to people who were devastated by Hurricane Michael. And that was an actual hurricane. So, yeah, we are. I really feel, I'm just, I don't even know what to say about. And I'm not in line of any of these hurricanes. And I just feel like I just can't believe that. Wake up tomorrow and see how many people have been devastated. Oh, more and more and more. There's too many. Too many. So I'm just going to go over some, clear off this window because these were open last night. So let me just clean on up. This woman, yeah. Oh, FEMA, the lies that we hear. The lies that we hear, guys, it's so sickening that this is what life has become. It really is. It's like life has been trashed. Here, where am I? Working nonstop, helping the victims. North Carolina? Yeah. Oh, and Mark Robinson. Oh, I wanted to check this out, but isn't Mark Robinson Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina? Anybody want to check it out?
Working nonstop for how many days? Since the hurricane hit. What is your best summary to tell America about what's happening here?
America, the only person that has been here for the state of North Carolina has been Mark Robinson. Everywhere else we turn, every organization, every organization is shutting us down. Everywhere we turn, they're putting chains on our supplies. They're stopping our pilots. This is all citizen done. None of this has come from any organization. FEMA has never shown their faces to us. We've got no funds. All of these pilots have been out here. We flew over 400 flights yesterday, and the pilots paid for the gas themselves. This is ridiculous. Mark is the only one that has stood beside the state of North Carolina.
Working nonstop for how many days?
Since the hurricane.
Okay, so I'm going to check it out because he's the lieutenant governor. Okay. Thank you. Ain't buying it. Yeah, apparently the governor was up in New York City for a fundraiser. How do you take off when all of this is going on? Well, you can do it when you just don't care. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, good looking. Yeah, and They seem to be bulldozing areas very quickly.
I want to show you guys something, okay? I was just here yesterday to try to help with recovery efforts of some, people's family, right? And there was a whole wall of debris back here, okay? By the time I got back this morning, they'd already bulldozed it. Now, I know within that amount of time, they couldn't have looked for victims because that was a whole pile of stuff. Like, it was bad. And I come back today and it's essentially like gone. So I gotta bring a bobcat in and an excavator. Yeah. Shit. Watch out, because that's.
Wow. Floodwaters being poisoned. It's an endless nightmare. Just.
There's potentially a huge environmental disaster happening in Asheville, North Carolina, and everyone downriver. This is reportedly the IPEX plastic PVC factory. Everything looks to be destroyed, and chemicals have been leaked into the French Broad River.
It's probably the PVC, the powder form.
So far, there's no signs of the EPA or FEMA on location at this factory. And according to sources there, doesn't look like they're coming anytime soon.
Just pounds and pounds of this chemicals all over the place. And it's leaking right into the water system, into the French Broad. And there's other chemicals that it happened to. There's some kind of pebble-like material or chemical.
Yeah. And according to Inga, one of the best videos I've seen, get a sense of what people in North Carolina were going through. The flash flooding, you'll see how quickly it comes up.
Definitely worse than what it was. Huh? That's worse than what it was when we came through. That's not stopping. Oh, you can't stop in the water now. No, just go. Oh my God, what are they doing? No, they can't. They can't either.
Tree down up there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's no way.
Oh shit! Did that tree just fall? Yeah, fuck.
right there. But we don't have a lot of time.
So, unless you have the experience, you don't know. You don't know. So I've seen a lot throughout the years of people judging other people, for driving in flash flooding. You have no idea how fast this flooding can come up. And suddenly people are trapped, so I think it's best that we just withhold, our judgment that is based on no experience and just witnessing someone on a video. Yeah. All right. People are being canceled. This is on TikTok, I think. So you talk about weather modification or Biden-Harris administration. So this Mama Tot, I don't know her, but I think a lot of people do. Yeah, well, we've got an awful lot going on simultaneously. The destruction of, everything that we held dear is literally being destroyed. The link is in the chat if you want to watch it. And yeah, the Appalachian spirit, we all need it. I am quite impressed, much respect. They just get the job done. Yeah. They're building a bridge, and this isn't the first bridge that I've seen. Ordinary folk building these bridges so that people can have access, to whatever is left there, to whatever is left. They're not waiting. They get up and do it. It's very cool. Yeah. And
explain what happened.
You want to go over to your shop?
Yeah, let's get we go over here.
Oh, I did it. Pedals. Okay.
Actually, right here we got to show the side sign. Yeah.
I brought down to the shop.
Now, what do you want me to talk about? What happened the day we was
Explain
here?
to people who've never been through something like this,
Right.
what it was like and how it changes everybody's life.
Yeah. This is the biggest flood that we've ever had. I'm 56 years old and never seen anything like this. The town is basically completely destroyed. Our livelihoods are destroyed. This business has been in this family's for 30-something years, and I don't know what we'll do. You know, how it's just amazing the people that has come in and tried to help, but to try to get a hold of the scope and awe of how much is done here, you can't until you see it. You know, seeing your building completely submerged in water, and you know the oil barrels going up Main Street, you know, in a current is just more than you can really understand, and to see it, it's bad. So
Lost everything. And so here we have a repeat. It never stops. Never stops. We've got the next rads going right along the coast, as they usually do. So I don't think that's anything all that significant. But what we are seeing, this so-called precipitation over Florida, off the west coast of Florida, is very bizarre. We've seen a lot of pulsating frequencies. I showed on a live stream, which pulsating out here off the east coast and then out here off the west coast at the same time, pulsing. That was very strange. The extremely low frequencies, I'm glad Into Thin Air especially is getting the word out about these frequencies. But this looks to be almost like boiling over. It's very strange. Yeah, you have an X-ray going right here. Looks like Miami. Look at these little nanobots going right into this. Look, Jacksonville. Holy shoot. Oh my God. Hang on. Oh. There you go. Next red ray. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You see it? Right there. Yeah. It's very obvious. All the frequencies. Look. Oh, these. Some people have called them pie cutouts. These are the extremely low frequencies. Next-red Doppler radar emitting these high frequencies into the ionosphere, pushing the ionosphere up then when it releases the power of the frequencies, the ionosphere, oh, that's powerful. Comes crashing back down, shooting off extremely low frequencies. And guess what they can do with that? They can create local or regional heating of the atmosphere, cyclones. Oh, wait. Oh, hurricanes. And earthquakes. So the frequencies are blasting away. Right here, right here, right here, going through it. They use the extremely low frequencies to create or modify, intensify, steer. But look at, yeah, and this is very interesting because it looks like we've got these, look, the nanobots are feeding next-red Doppler radar, and Doppler radar is literally, oh boy, there they go, hitting the frequencies, and voila, they're gone. Oh boy. Okay. I hope you're all safe and stay safe and you're out there helping people and living honestly, speaking honestly. So once again, I don't even know what to say. I just hope to God that this thing is not as destructive as I think it may very well be. Okay. Be well, stay strong, guys, and thank you for showing up, and I hope to see you tomorrow. And yeah. Good night, good luck. Ciao, guys. Mm-hmm.